Hello and welcome to After Weird, the place where we fit in all the weird news, strange stories, and other bits that we can't quite fit into the main episodes, and where we take a mixed relationship with Ed and Lorraine Warren.
Well, only in as much as you love them and I hate them.
No, I like to. I don't really use them for much inspiration or sources. I like to get my sources from legitimate sources and old texts.
Yeah.
Yeah. Anyway, I actually thought we could talk about the sort of following on a little bit, I guess, from the Enfield Poltergeist.
Yes.
I thought we could talk about Ghostwatch. For those who don't know and haven't seen it, it is a piece of television history that sort of blurred the lines between reality and fiction and paved the way for the sort of found footage horror trope that we know today. While Orson Welles' War of the Worlds on radio certainly caused a stir sort of much earlier on over in the States, Ghostwatch broadcast on Halloween night on 1992, and it brought that sense of unsettling realism to television, directly influencing films like The Blair Witch Project, Paranormal Activity, Derren Brown's Seance, and even those sort of live ghost hunting shows like everyone's favourite Most Haunted.
Mary loves Dick.
Sam, get him off me, Sam.
Oh, yes. So, yeah, it was the brainchild of Stephen Volk, who initially envisioned it as a series, but it was heavily inspired by the Enfield Poltergeist, as you said. And what made Ghostwatch so effective was its commitment to the format of a live BBC News broadcast. It cleverly utilised familiar and trusted presenters like Michael Parkinson, Sarah Green and Mike Smith, placing them in seemingly real, unfolding events. Even Craig Charles featured as a sceptical voice, kind of grounding some of the more outlandish claims.
Yeah, I mean, surely Lister of Smeg gives it some legitimacy, right?
Well, I don't know how recently you've seen it. I watched it just last week, and
It's been a while for me.
They do certainly. Craig certainly sort of takes the piss a little bit and doesn't take any of it seriously, which is why I think it's so believable. Though, is that they all act as themselves essentially, and so these are, like you say, trusted names, and people just go, "Oh, it's Craig Charles prattling about. He doesn't believe any of this nonsense." And that made it feel kind of more real. But yeah, like the real heart of the terror was the haunted family, which was the early family, Mother Pamela and her daughters Susan and Kim. And they were tormented by an entity that they called Pipes, who was said to have lived in the sinister boarded up cupboard under the stairs. And who, amusingly, the mother says her and her husband called the glory hole.
Don't
they didn't even laugh when they said it.
Gonna dust off one of my ex stories now. An ex of mine. I might have mentioned this before actually, but ex of mine from years back. We're sort of having dinner with her, like with her mum and her nan, sort of I don't know, Sunday roast, and yeah, they're quite old-fashioned. It's a very old house. It kind of felt like it was perpetually trapped in like the 50s or 60s. And she goes, "Oh, actually, no." She was asking me, "Would you go to the go and get whatever it was, some drinks or something? Yeah, just pop into the glory hole." And I'm like looking like this, and my girlfriend's like glaring at me, like, "Don't say anything, don't say anything." I was like, "Okay, I'll go to the glory hole. Anyone want to come give me a hand in there?" It was, yeah.
Wow. So your ex's mother kind of proposed some.
Yeah, I mean, didn't say she wanted to join me there. I think it was just like she wanted me to go to the glory hole.
Interesting. So yes, so this entity anyway, Pipes lives in the glory hole. And then the terror kind of slowly escalates from knocks and moving objects. Again, like we're saying, very similar to Enfield.
Yeah.
And then it kind of ends with a horrifying reveal that Pipes was the spirit of this guy, Raymond Tunstall, who was a disturbed individual who'd committed suicide in that very cupboard after being partially eaten by his own cats.
Ooh. It's going to happen to us all eventually.
Yeah. So yeah, Stephen Volk even had some incredibly like subtle ideas to enhance the realism, such as he had like this high-pitched sound, which was supposedly inaudible to humans but potentially disturbing to pets, which kind of then mirrors the strange occurrences with the animals in the fictional Pipes household. So like people's pets at home were supposedly reacting to these noises that they couldn't hear.
That's cunning, that is.
Yeah, so like your dog or your cat starts acting kind of strangely for no apparent reason while you're watching this
And
seemingly live broadcast.
as a result, 482 pet cats and dogs were killed by their owners through fear of the paranormal and possession. Um, but interestingly, the concept went further, with Parkinson potentially suggesting that the ghost is probably in your house, sort of like to the audience, you know. Astonishingly, over 11 million viewers tuned in that night, and over 1 million phone calls flooded the BBC switchboard. With the size of the audience, it's perhaps less astonishing that even Michael Parkinson's own mother called in, which is amazing, believing it was all real, you know. So it clearly didn't clue her into it. It sort of shows how well the show was put together, really, doesn't it? I mean, you know, I don't want to say for the time because that kind of belittles how brilliant some of the television was back then, but it was really good, like forward thinking. Yeah, it sort of starts off by saying it's a drama, but you know, sort of you get people tune in a little bit late or aren't really paying attention. They're off making a cup of tea or something.
They were really, really cheeky actually, because I think a few weeks before it went out, it was in like the Radio Times,
Yeah,
and then like, but they did it like weeks before the broadcast, so it was
so
enough
people
time
don't
that
really
people would
think.
forget about it.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and yeah, so and obviously they're then pulled in by these like trusted kind of familiar faces who wouldn't trick us about. That's Parkinson, you know. And they're sort of pulled in by that, and they're thinking, well, this is legitimate because it's, you know, these people that we've seen present these, you know, well, not these kind of things, but reality TV or what was reality TV then and real life things. And you know, they sort of trusted them. You know, they didn't think anything was amiss. However, the broadcast it did actually have a real tragic real world consequence as well. 18-year-old Martin Denham, a young man with learning difficulties, took his own life. And apparently it was linked, sort of his distress was linked to the events in the show and sort of the knocking pipes in his own home. It was kind of all combined and was a bit too much, sadly. This heartbreaking event led to quite a significant backlash, as you can imagine, with over 30,000 official complaints. Among them, again, was Parkinson's elderly mother. This led to a ruling from the Broadcasting Standards Commission. This commission criticised the BBC for not making the fictional nature of the programme clearer and for its distressing content, especially given the involvement of presenters familiar to children. The BBC ultimately issued an apology, and while the show was never technically banned, it has been suppressed by the corporation and has never been repeated in full on UK television since.
No, it's interesting. I mean, spoilers if you haven't seen it. I mean, I think you've had plenty of time at this point, but there's this idea that Parkinson's possessed at the end, and so that's kind of why the mother was complaining, was that her son had become possessed because
Yeah,
of this live broadcast. So even she was convinced that he'd actually become possessed. um, yeah. And I mean, you can get it on DVD.
yeah,
It is available, which is how I watched it. So yeah, despite the controversy, Ghostwatch's influence is undeniable. It demonstrably paved the way for like the found footage genre in cinema, as you mentioned earlier, and yeah, inspired later paranormal investigation shows. But even more recently, I quite like this. So the creators of the critically acclaimed Zoom-based horror film Host, have you seen that one?
yep, yep.
So good that when it got to the end, I watched it again immediately,
Wow.
twice in a row. Partly because I was watching it on my own, and then Ocean went to bed, and then I was like, Emma, you need to see this film, so we watched it again. But they did. They actually cite Ghostwatch as a major inspiration for Host, and they even included like the subtle nods throughout the film. So like the Zoom caller ID was 31101992, which was the original broadcast date of Ghostwatch.
Ah,
Um,
I like that.
yeah, and I've been trying to get hold of. I can't find a copy, but there is. Apparently, he wrote a short story. It's a collection of short stories, but there's a particular one in this book that is supposedly a sequel to Ghostwatch, which I think they kind of go on a bit of an investigation to the haunted studio where it
The
happened.
exorcism of Michael Parkinson.
Basically, yeah. But it only
So much blood.
exists. It says on the website you can download it for free by clicking this link, but nothing happens. So if anyone knows where I can get hold of this short story, I would love to read it.
Ray clicked the link and nothing happened, but Lara started going nuts in the background.
But yeah, you can see definitely see the influence of the Enfield case on this. Yeah, I think
Yeah,
bit of genius television, really.
nice. Yeah, I'll have to give it another watch. I'm going to have to give Host another watch as well. I'm looking for a horror film to watch tomorrow night, actually. Pat and Amy visiting, and we're going to watch horror films. Don't know what to watch yet, though. Any suggestions?
Tucker and Dale versus Evil.
I mean, that is brilliant. I don't know if I would technically class it as a horror film, but it's also a brilliant film.
What about Stir of Echoes? Have you seen Stir of Echoes?
No, I don't think I have actually.
Old Kevin Bacon film, really good. That's a ghosty one.
Okay.
Go on then. You got
Any weird news?
any weirdo news to round off this
Reckon I
season
do.
of the show?
Here we go. This is from the highbrow publication, The Daily Star.
Hmm.
It's I don't know if it counts as weird or not. It's a bit normal. Keir Starmer is a synth construct alien from the planet Consensus, claims Mad Theory.
Okay.
To many Brits, UK politicians are barely human, but now a new theory has emerged thanks to artificial intelligence about our own Prime Minister, Keir Starmer. Keir Starmer is an alien, apparently. The bizarre claim has come from Google's own artificial intelligence-powered large language model called Gemini. According to the latest iteration, the catchily named 2.5 Flash, it boldly states that Starmer is not a human lawyer turned politician, but is actually a highly advanced synth legal unit constructed and sent to Earth by distant, bureaucratically obsessed civilization to ensure galactic laws are uniformly applied, called Consensus.
Wow.
Musing that Starmer is here possibly just to test how long a human population can tolerate a total absence of spontaneity. The wild theory breaks down Starmer's personality and gives some very credible evidence to the alien statement, which it also claims it has gathered from the darkest corners of the internet. The darkest corners. Poking fun at Starmer's lack of spontaneity and robotic delivery, it said, when asked about it by the Daily Star, his famously cautious and measured public speaking is not due to carefully political positioning, but to the limitations of his core programming. He's operating on a highly efficient text-to-speech algorithm. Any attempt at humour or passion risks a catastrophic system crash. Hence the rapid deletion of his more youthful past opinions. His internal processor takes precisely 1.7 seconds to analyse a direct question, cross-reference it with the entire database of legal precedent, and formulate a reply that is technically correct but entirely devoid of human warmth. Yeah, and it talks about his suit rotation being part of Starmer's. It's called the Starmer outer casing. He never appears to sweat, crease, or spill coffee on himself, even the most stressful environments. This is due to the suit's advanced molecular self-cleaning and anti-contaminant force field. Lastly, what powers Starmer is not food or rest. It is, in fact, a little subtle energy drain on the Earth's political apathy. The more people say, he's fine, I guess, the stronger he becomes. He doesn't need applause. He needs the low-frequency hum of resigned acceptance to recharge his internal plasma cell. And then it just ends with saying, we can't argue with a lot of it, I suppose. Yeah. I mean, I imagine that was imagine Keir Starmer as an alien synth. Tell us what he would be like kind of prompt rather than a, original thought by an AI. But I kind of like it. I kind of, yeah, you got anything for us?
I've got a couple of things. So one is more ghosty, which fits in nicely, being Halloween season. But being as you've just done that, there's another story on The Guardian, which is sort of related to what you're saying. It's actually under the science section of The Guardian's website, actually.
Okay.
Science, yeah. It's bored aliens. Has intelligent life stopped bothering trying to contact Earth?
We've jumped the shark. It's like I've seen all the political stuff going on, but nah, that's not realistic. They're putting it on.
The header images of ET, like, ouch, which is funny. Yeah, it says for centuries, great thinkers have pondered why, given the hundreds of billions of planets in the galaxy, we have seen no compelling signs of intelligent life beyond Earth. Now scientists are mulling an intriguing possibility. If aliens exist, their technology may be only marginally better than ours, and having explored their cosmic neighborhood for a while, they simply got bored and stopped bothering, making it difficult to detect them. The scenario that's been described in a new paper embraces the principle of radical mundanity. Is that your new band name? Probably.
Yeah, possibly.
It shuns the notion of extraterrestrials zipping around the universe after harnessing physics beyond our comprehension. Instead, it proposes a Milky Way that is home to a modest number of civilizations with technology not wildly more impressive than our own. Then there's a quote here. It says, the idea is that they're more advanced, but not much more advanced. It's like having an iPhone 42 rather than an iPhone 17, said Dr. Robin Corbett, who's a senior research scientist at the University of Maryland. He says this feels more possible, more natural, because it's not proposing anything very extreme. And it goes on for a bit, but that's the main point.
I don't know if I agree with the idea that they're only going to be a bit more advanced than us. I mean, space is really big, right? It's quite big.
Doesn't exist, mate.
Fair enough. Like Wiltshire.
The Earth is flat.
This is true. I have heard this. No, I think just the feat of being able to get here, if they were getting here, I think shows like a vast superior kind of technology and intellect possibly to our own.
If they can get here.
And silently, they drew their plans against us. I've got one more. Well, I've got a few, but I'm only going to do one more. I'll give a brief overview. This one is also from the Star. I wasn't going to use it, but it popped up. Britain's most hated mum vows to dress daughter as Ed Gein for school Halloween bash.
Okay. It's Ed Gein, though. It is Ed Gein.
Ed Gein. I don't know. You say Gein, I say Gain. But, it's okay. She's going to dress him as Ed Gein. That's fine, as long as it's not Ed Gein.
Exactly.
Yeah, why is she so hated? She's the one that apparently claimed depression to get a free nose job, which made people very angry. Doesn't bother me that much personally, but she's charged her. Apparently, among other things, she charged her children 250 quid for Christmas dinner.
Wow!
And encouraged her eldest daughter, who was of age, may I add, to start an OnlyFans. But she said she'll be dressing blue as the monstrous serial killer. Oh, it's Ed Gein, known as the Butcher of Plainfield. Blah, 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 just about the Texas Chainsaw Massacre. Yeah. Apparently she was watching that new Netflix documentary and decided this is a good idea. She said, well, since it's come out on Netflix, because he wasn't famous before that, I guess, he's turned into a horror character, so I can't see an issue with that. So many people are talking about him now. I love to hop on a trend.
Surely it's the kids' choice who they dress up. as.
I mean, they're 4.
Yeah, surely it's the kid's choice. Ocean, what do you want to be this year? A witch. Okay. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah,
No,
yeah.
no 4-year-old is going to say, "Oh, I'd like to be that serial killer."
Yeah,
Ed
but
Gein,
also they're
actually.
very suggestible, aren't they? You know, so you can be like, no, you want to be Ed Gein, you know, you want to be Ed Gein. It's mummy, it's Gain. No, it's Gein.
Well,
And
never have kids, Andy.
right? I'm not saying I would. I'm just saying they are suggestible.
I mean, you are siding with this most hated.
I'm not saying it's right. I'm just saying it's doable. You know, like
Just sounds like you're on her side.
You could straight up convince a kid, be like, "Do you want this dirty, like old bit of paper that's £10 note, or this shiny, lovely, shiny 50p? Oh, it's shiny. They're saying it's a good thing. I'll take that." You know, very suggestible.
Okay. I mean, I have a ghosty one. It's eerie ring doorbell footage captures ghost walking down the street after chilling warning. Let's do a quick share then. There you go, it's zoomed in. So there. Can you see that?
Oh yeah, it looks like someone walking.
It's just moving across. It's just there, look. And it just disappears. Weird.
Could be a trick of the light.
Could be a ghost.
Could be a ghost.
Why have you got to be so negative, Andy?
It's
a ghost.
It's definitely a ghost. Proof.
There you go.
Undeniable proof.
After end of season 2 of Wyrd Wessex After Wyrd. We've proved the existence of ghost. What will happen in season 3? Who knows? But the final season starts next week.
Thank you very much for tuning in, as always. And yeah, until next time.
Don't blame the owls.
Don't blame the owls. Saw that on a t-shirt.
See you next season.